Hey, what's up? So today another manga spotlight, this time on a mangaka that I discovered from Axe. This is, the name of the mangaka is Minoru Sugiyama. So initially I think it was maybe issue 14 of Axe. He has done a cover for Axe. So that specific issue I opened up and I got introduced to a chapter from this manga here named Mother Cosmos. So just a brief showcase of what his art looks like. Very detailed. So the two manga that I have here says Mother Cosmos and this one is called Girl Device. So Minoru Sugiyama does science fiction works. So these are the only two manga that he has put out. And Girl Device was published in 2011, Mother Cosmos in 2005. Both of them serialized in Axe from my memory. And of course, both published by Seirin Kogeisha. So a little information about Sugiyama. Pretty much, the main thing that I saw was that he won the Encouragement Awards for the 5th Axe Awards in 2003. He was born in 1973. I believe as well, on top of manga, maybe he did illustrations for picture books. I will have to check that again. But yeah, science fiction works are his main thing. So what I'll get started with is just the spoilerless review. So I'll take it one at a time. So might as well start with the one that came first, Mother Cosmos. This was also the first manga that I read. So I read this one first and then I read Girl Device after. So Mother Cosmos was published again in 2005, and just a brief premise description of what this manga is about. It's a manga set in this place called Gargoyle City, and we've got this amazing color fold-out over here with this one of the robots like mecha things and the landscape. This is like a creature as well, not a creature but also another robot, so that's very cool. But as you can see here, starting off with things, very large robot type creatures that populate this entire manga. And what's cool is that over the course of the manga, we've got these little descriptions of all these different, I'll just call them monoliths that appear throughout the story. But yeah, the premise is we've got two characters, Satoru and Scoop. They head to Gargoyle City in search of their childhood friend, Paula, because she had gone to the city and had never returned. So they are heading over to find her. But on that journey, they start to learn more and more about the world of the Gargoyle City, what had happened in the past, its civilization, and all that type of stuff. So that was the premise of the manga. To be honest, I love the art, number one, for sure. Very detailed. All of the architecture, character designs, robot designs are really cool. In terms of the stories itself, I thought that the plot was very... it did feel quite standard. Like their journey to finding the secrets of this city was pretty standard. But the thing I didn't really like as much was that when they did come to the point where they found the secrets, or like at the end point of the manga, all of the lore was just revealed in one big information dump, which kind of took out the tension and suspense a little bit. It ended at a point where I felt it was a little anticlimactic. We had so much build up and all of it was just given to us in just big paragraphs, which yeah, isn't my thing, to be honest. But that was pretty much my only gripe with this. The plot wasn't too crazy for me, but I'm here mainly for the art anyways. So yeah, that was the spoilerless review. We'll get on now to me explaining some parts of the manga. To be fair though, it's been maybe a year or more that since I've read this. So we start off with a little map of the entire place, and we've got English titles, which is good. And yeah, these really cool descriptor pages of these cities and creatures. But I'll just do a flip through of the manga. To be honest, the character designs aren't my thing. They feel a bit flat, just in my opinion. But I feel like the world building visually makes up for it. And it's pretty similar in the case of Girl Device as well. Minoru Sugiyama excels at creating these robots, creating the world around them as well. But plot-wise, not too sure about that personally. Chicken Lace, a very interesting name for a robot. But yeah, it is quite dialogue heavy, which makes sense. You know, science fiction, there's a lot of like technology that they'll have to explain. This is really cool. Bridgeman. It's like a robot that it's pretty much a bridge. So that's pretty sick. But in terms of what the end point is, so Mother Cosmos is supposed to be a place where before the collapse of civilization, it was supposed to have been like a paradise, I believe. So right now, I guess we're in an apocalyptic setting with all of these robots roaming the place. But that's their goal, trying to figure out the secrets and what happened beforehand as they search for paradise. But I believe from my memory, these robots are organic robots. We also meet these birdmen who have been fighting the robots, I believe, for quite some time. But I do believe that at some point they do reveal the robots are organic. So another side to the backstory and the history of what has happened. Mother Bacon, very funny name, but very ominous looking. All of these robots are very ominous looking. These are great designs. So yeah, I'll just skip through a little bit more revelations. The Mother Love Power Station. This one was a really weird one. Here it is. Just a bunch of you can see the size of them as well. These are the humans on the bottom. That's how big the machine is. Love the way how he had shaded and covered the faces of these mother robots and the babies. So they do meet Paula at this point. And I don't exactly remember what happens, but we're getting close to the point where they just reveal everything. Corn Giant's a great one. If he made like a bestiary, like if Sugiyama made a bestiary of like, well, I guess they count, they're organic, of these robots and everything, Girl Device as well, I think it would sell pretty well. The Mother Love Engine. Yeah, his robot designs are just the best. This chaos is happening. Got a little tear. Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know what happens at the end. It does get a bit confusing. We've got this doctor here that was the one that explained everything. Big fights. And they're very cool. Double page spread. And yeah, that was the end of Mother Cosmos. I mean, I could have read this again, but since it's been more than a year, but it wasn't my favorite manga, so I didn't really want to be honest. But here's like a little character list and creature list as well. Looking at chapter 2 to 5, the Birdmen, all of these other characters and creatures. And a little afterword at the end. So yeah, serialized acts from 2004 to 2005. This one was published in 2005. So that was Mother Cosmos. Not my favorite, but the art is amazing. So we'll move on to Girl Device next. So Girl Device, this one came out in, well, this tankobon was released in 2011. And this one specifically, I got this cool little postcard. That's cool. But yeah, 2011. You've got a lot of the same vibes in terms of these. Instead of, in this case, we still do have robots, as you can see on the front. It's still a sci-fi story, but the plot is very different. So, the general premise of this one, to start the spoilerless section again, our main character is named Alpha, and what has happened is that humanity has retreated to Mars because Earth is now populated with, so these are like the, I guess, spaceships, mechas that they have, the robots. Earth is populated by, let me just find, yeah, these girl devices, I guess I'll call them, but these robots that are in the shape of girls. And so Alpha's job is to go into Earth and figure out what has happened, try to battle them, get rid of them so that humanity can return. And so this is an example of what they all look like. This is how bad it is, the situation is on Earth. So it's not just Alpha, everyone is going in to go out on a full-on war against these girl devices. And that is that spoilerless section, because similar to Mother Cosmos, if I reveal any more, it will be a spoiler. It's the same format, story-wise, plot-wise, as Mother Cosmos, where we have a group of characters going into a journey and figuring out what has happened to civilization on Earth. Pretty much the same plot structure in Girl Device. So, going into the spoilers now and just seeing what has happened. So all of these girls are actually, they resemble Alpha's, like the girls he knew back in high school. So throughout the story, he gets flashbacks of a specific girl. What was her name? Sachiko. I think this girl's name is Sachiko. Of this specific girl and what he had done to her. So apparently he was a bully to her. And she's the link to all of these girl devices existing on Earth. So a lot of the first part is just introductory scenes, big and grand fights between all these mechas and the girl devices, which I'll skip over a bit, just to give an idea. The art definitely is not more refined. The character designs look more refined, a little less flat. But this is an example here. He gets a flashback, sees a girl that he knew back in high school. She was also a bully to Sachiko, and she has been transformed into a girl device there. So as you're reading this, you're thinking, oh, Sachiko probably did all this to get revenge on her bullies, because there are a lot of girls that were her bullies. So for example, this is another flashback. This is pretty painful to look at, but I think they hurt maybe Sachiko's pet, or definitely a dog, but yeah, that was pretty bad. So we find more and more of them, but we also meet these little creatures here. So much like the Birdmen in Mother Cosmos, these creatures help out our main character fight against the Girl Devices. So it seems like they're just like an underground civilization that have lived, not really coexisting, but lived in fear of these Girl Devices. So you have, oh, disgusting, disgusting renditions of these bullies as Girl Devices. So at this point, they're going down into a hole, discovering what is going on behind everything. They find the city. And it comes to a point where the deeper we go, the more we get closer to what is presumably Sachiko. Right? So we're thinking this whole time, Sachiko is probably the one who's doing all of this. We haven't seen her yet. So it's a hellscape pretty much. But I will skip to the point where we get a little more detail for the plot. It's great art. Okay, so this is the point here where Alpha dives into this Evangelion-looking ball of Girl Devices, and he stumbles upon Sachiko. So what has happened, and we get a lot more in the background behind things, was that Sachiko had this power where she had the power that could cause chaos around her, but the bullying triggered that. So she, as you see here, has been trying to stop that from happening. This is a picture of the chaos that it resulted. And so I believe it's hard to tell. I was a bit confused at the end, but yeah, Alpha had also been one of the bullies. So I'm not too sure what happens at the end, but seems to be a realization of what had happened. He sort of breaks down. But Sachiko had also isolated herself, I believe, to try and stop things from happening, but looks like he liked her. Of course he did. But towards the end, we get a time skip where the Earth has changed considerably. There have been more progress made in killing off the Girl Devices, because this scene here, I believe, was where he had killed her. So it's their job to pretty much clean up everything. Got these Girl Devices just dead, floating in midair in space. And yeah, that was the end of that. And afterward again. So that was just my brief description of the plot and what I thought was happening. Towards the end, I didn't really know too much. Similar to Mother Cosmos. Got pretty confusing, so I tried to kind of skirt around because I don't want to try going into too much detail, wouldn't be accurate. So that's what I perceived and what I understood from the ending of Girl Device. But yeah, that was the two manga, that's the only two manga that I have from Sugiyama Minoru, an Axe contributor back in the early days, back in 2000. As of right now, I'm not too really sure if he's still creating works or illustrating. Definitely not manga that I've seen, but maybe illustrations. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this one. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.